Proud in what they've done and what they continue to do.
Chiefs 35, Titans 24. Austin Ryder snaps to Mahomes and a knee. He goes to a knee and a backflip by Demarcus Robinson. That is going to do it. 50 years of waiting.
Chiefs kingdom is special.
And the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. 50 years. 50 years.
Richard Sherman. Mahomes throws, pass caught. Williams, Kansas City. Kansas City jumps up. Touchdown, Kansas City.
It's coming. Mahomes gets away. Puts his eyes downfield and fires and completes it. Kelsey, what else is new? And Kelsey with blocking inside the 20. Rumbling inside the 10. Look at this.
Kansas City.
Crazy.
Touchdown, Kansas City. Touchdown, Kansas.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. Look, before we get started into the show, I just want to ask everyone a quick favor. First and most importantly, go hit that share button. It takes 5 seconds to do. It's completely free. So please help us build this legendary community by getting it out there to fellow Chiefs fans. Also, if you end up liking the content, go ahead and follow. If you're on YouTube, smash that notification bell. That way you can keep up with any content that I dropped. Alright, now that we got that done with, let's jump into the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of Jaymes Howell's NFL Talk. How are you doing, Chase?
I'm good, man. I got my days a little mixed up, man. I'm not used to doing this on a Thursday, but I like it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We get this chance to show that, we know a little bit more than just about the Chiefs, and expand and give our knowledge out to others. And we get that opportunity to do it. And it's a pleasure. It is an absolute pleasure to be able to do this with you. So,
absolutely.
Hey, look,
same degree.
Before we get started, like I was just saying in the little video beforehand, go ahead and take the time to go and like our pages. I've got my Facebook page, Twitter, YouTube. You can find me at Jaymes Howell 1. My buddy here, when he's not on this podcast, he sells insurance for American Family Insurance. Go check him out. He's also on Facebook and Twitter. So look, real quick, hey, over the past 28 days, we have had a total reach of over 12,000 people. That is up 260% in the past 28 days. And I got to thank everyone that watches this show, because we are starting to take off a little bit. We are starting to get a little bit of traction. Unfortunately, out of those 12,000 views, we have 27 new likes to Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. So go to the page, like, follow. Please do us the favor. Let's get this out to other people in the community. Real quick, we'll go to the chat. As always, Mama Bear in the house. She wants to make sure that she lets Chase know. She says hi.
Hi.
And we appreciate the share, of course.
Absolutely.
So, big games this week. We got a couple big games, and it really starts off tonight, Thursday Night Football. We've got Green Bay versus Arizona, which to me means Aaron Rodgers versus Kyler Murray. What What's your thoughts, bud?
It's going to be a great matchup. Both teams are stacked pretty well. Green Bay's offense is pretty well stacked, and so is Arizona's. Arizona, I think, has a little bit more stacked defense than Green Bay, but like I said, we're gonna be in for a treat on those games tonight.
For sure. Okay, so look, Rodgers goes into this game, no Devontae Adams, and Arizona they have no J.J. Watt, so that could definitely play a factor in the final outcome. But what they do have on the Green Bay side is tight end Robert Tonyan, which is started to make himself known throughout the NFL community, and then his old friend Randall Cobb is back in Green Bay, and they've been connecting. He looks like the Randall Cobb that he used to when he was previously in Green Bay. And Aaron Jones. That's where it's important to me, is Aaron Jones, because the key for Green Bay to win this game is to maintain possession of the ball, dominate time of possession, and run the ball. Run the ball, especially with J.J. Watt being out, because Murray's got the weapons, and DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, Christian Kirk, and even Zach Ertz, the tight end that they recently acquired. They got the weapons. If you give them the ball, they're going to put it up on you.
Yep.
They're going to put points up. So what's your prediction?
I'm going to go with the experience of Green Bay. And I'm going to say Green Bay comes away with it, but it's going to be really close.
You got a score?
I don't.
Okay. Well, I said I think Arizona's going to take this one 38-28. Okay. So we'll move on. I want to go to – we're going to leave the primetime games for last here. So Pittsburgh and Cleveland, that's our next matchup. This is a big game for both these teams. Both these teams are starting to try to establish themselves in the AFC and within the playoffs. We're all kind of fighting for a couple of different spots here, and they're right in the mix. So, who do you have here?
I'm going to go with Cleveland.
Any particular reason?
I think that they're still finding their identity this year, and I think this will be a good game for them to kind of build on that going forward.
Now, I'm pretty sure, I haven't heard definitely, but I'm pretty sure Baker Mayfield's going to be back this week.
Yep.
And they just recently got Jarvis Landry back. They're trying to get some guys healthy. And Kareem Hunt was out, Nick Chubb was out. In Cleveland, it doesn't seem to matter who runs the ball. Dearness Johnson did a wonderful job last year. But to me, it comes down to Najee Harris in Pittsburgh. Once again, kind of like with the Green Bay game, if Pittsburgh can control the ball, can control time of possession, and make a few key stops here and there, they got a really good chance of winning this. So I've got Pittsburgh winning 28-17. Carolina and the Falcons, right? This is a game of opponents that are very similar talent-wise. I think there's not much of a difference between Carolina and Atlanta. But what I do want to talk about is the firepower that Atlanta has in tight end Kyle Pitts. That man has proven himself over and over again, and I think he's the next Travis Kelce. Before Kittle, before Darren Waller, it's Kyle Pitts. What's your thoughts?
I like Kyle Pitts as well. I'm a big supporter of Sam Darnold. I think it's fantastic that Sam found him somewhere to go. and somewhere that he was welcomed, because I think the way New York did him was kind of dirty. They drafted that kid 2-3 seasons ago and then decided they were done with him.
Well, that's the way New York does everybody.
Yeah.
It'll be the same way with Zach Wilson as well.
Yeah, he'll be out in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But, for that Carolina team, man, they've had a couple of games where it's like, they looked rough. Yeah. But I like them, man. Like I said, I'm a big Sam Darnold fan, and I hope that they pull one out. So
yeah, I was a big fan of Sam Darnold moving to Carolina. I thought that was going to be really good for both parties. Unfortunately, like you were saying, the past couple weeks, it hasn't really worked out that well with Sam Darnold. He actually got benched last week for PJ Walker. And the biggest issue, I think, for Carolina is their pass protection. I mean, they allowed six sacks last week and 10 quarterback hits. And that just can't happen for any QB. So, with that said, I have Atlanta taking this game 28-24. You said Carolina?
Okay. Yeah, I'll go Carolina. And since we're throwing scores out there, I'll do.
I know I caught you off guard with that. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Let's do
24-17. Heard that. Hey, real quick, Donnie Ray Craven, yo, let's go. Glad to see you in the chat again, buddy. We got a couple communications between a couple people here. Sam Darnold, bounce back game. Hopefully, look, if he's gonna do it, if he's gonna have a bounce back game, Atlanta's defense is the game to do it. I just think that I don't know. I'm not sold on Sam Darnold yet. Yeah. So let's go Panthers, he says. All right, we're gonna move on to Dolphins and the Bills, right? Dolphins and the Bills. So I think the general public is going to be like in a consensus here that I have the Bills winning. It would shock me if you don't. But I have it winning 35-17, and the reason why is just Josh Allen he's on an MVP caliber. He's having an MVP caliber season. He's thrown 15 touchdowns. He's only had 3 interceptions. And he's got the weapons now, Emmanuel Sanders, Stephon Diggs, the tight end Knox, Cole Beasley. He's just got weapons all over the field. And I don't think Tua Tagovailoa, however you say his name, I believe it's Tagovailoa.
Sounds good to me.
I just don't think the guy's got confidence. Like we hear these trades or we hear these talks about Deshaun Watson trades when Tua just got drafted. He's supposed to be the guy. Now, how can you have confidence in anything that's going on if you're having to constantly look over your shoulder? And I think that might start affecting his play here soon.
Yeah.
So with that, like I said, I got Bills 35-17.
I'll go 35-14.
14. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got to put it out there so it's on record so we could go back and see if we were right or not,
Yeah. No, some of the things I've said on here, man, I wish weren't on record. So.
Dottie comes back. He says, but even Tom Brady and the Patriots lose to the Dolphins once a year. Yeah, it used to seem that way, huh? Back in the day.
It used to, yeah.
The Dolphins used to have the Patriots number, it seemed like at least once every year, whether it be Fitzmagic or whatever. But he's going with the Bills, just like us. Next game, we've got Washington versus Denver. Another game I kind of view as similar caliber teams. They both have some issues. Teddy Bridgewater struggled last week, and the biggest reason why is because that offensive line has allowed 21 sacks this year, an average of 3 sacks a game. So he's running for his life out there. And I don't think that really changed. Washington has a pretty good pass rush. Chase Young is phenomenal talent over there. And, I believe Washington's borderline playoff contender. They're almost there. They're just not quite. So I have Washington 28-17.
I'll go 24-21, Washington.
I just think that Denver's rush D is what might save them. If they have a chance to win this, it's going to be their rush defense because Washington kind of thrives in the play action. So if they do have a chance, it's going to be because the Denver defense came up big. Donnie Ray says, if McLaurin is healthy, maybe. Yeah, I haven't heard the word on that, but he's a soldier. He usually plays through a lot. And then 14-10 Washington is his pick.
I can see it being low scoring because both defenses, granted, I think Von Miller's out with Denver, right? But both defenses are pretty well matched. So I could see it being low scoring, like 14-10.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like you were saying. I mean, you were saying before the game that it could very possibly be a snooze fest. It could be and neither team is really, really good. So, I mean, we could see a lot of undisciplined football. It could just be a nasty game. It'll be interesting to watch. I just think that Washington edges them out barely. Tennessee and Colts. I'll let you take this one.
I like it. It's a division game. I don't think Tennessee's going to derail Indianapolis as much as people may think they will. Tennessee just came off of a good game. This could be
two good games.
Yeah, not a trap game, so to speak, but because Indianapolis isn't, they're not a snoozer, but like I said, it's a division game, and Carson Wentz is starting to look a little bit better. So, like I said, I could see Indianapolis coming up with the upset, but I think Tennessee is going to win it, and I'm going to go 28-24. Tennessee.
Okay. I actually pick the Colts to win this game. This is my upset of the week. And the reason why is because I feel as if the Colts are really starting to pull it together. The last time Carson Wentz had a QB rating of under 100 was in week 3. So, he's gone four games in a row. That's consistency. That's what we need to see. And I think that paired up with the running game that they already have and Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines, this is a good offensive line. And I just think that, I got a feeling. The Colts are going to take this one. And I got it a close game, 30-28 in favor of the Indianapolis Colts. And that might be a pick because I'm still a little salty about the game. I
was just getting ready to ask, are we picking the Colts because we're a little bit upset about the way that pill felt, but it's understandable. Like I said, it's one of those games that could go either way. Because it is a division game. It is off of a couple of hot games. So Tennessee's going to have to bring their game against Indianapolis, because Indianapolis doesn't want to be walked on. So.
Right. I mean, this is similar to the Pittsburgh and Cleveland game. Playoff seeding. We're all sitting here fighting for playoff seeding. And this is going to be pivotal. This is going to be a pivotal game when it comes down to tiebreakers and figuring out where everyone's seated at in the playoffs at the end of the year. So both these teams are going to be playing hard, and it should be a good game to watch. They know the importance of this game. So we'll move on to New England versus the LA Chargers. What's your thoughts, bud?
I don't think the Patriots have it figured out yet. At least enough to put away this Chargers team. I think I think the Chargers come away with this one. As far as score predictions go, I'm gonna go 13-35 Chargers.
Okay. 13-35 Chargers. Real quick, I just wanted to double back before we missed it. Here was Donnie's prediction for the Washington game, and then the prediction for he says Titans 28-24, Colts out of spite. I'm there with you, buddy. I'm there with you. For the New England game, look, I think Mac Jones is the real deal. And, they got a decent running game. Damian Harris is over there. And the pass defense for the Patriots, it could very well be the strongest unit on the team. So I think they're able to slow down the Chargers just enough to squeak out the win. And I say squeak out the win, but I have them winning by 10 points, 38-28 New England. And then next up we have Cincinnati and the dreaded Jets. Man, I mean, is there any question? Is there any question to this game? Look, the Jets. Look, the Jets are among the worst pass defense. The O-line is terrible. Zach Wilson is a fraud. To my point about the O-line being terrible, Cincinnati had 5 sacks last week against Baltimore. So they just got too many weapons. They've got too many weapons. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. He's lighting up the NFL scene. They've got way too many weapons. So I have them 31-17 Cincinnati.
I was gonna say 30-10.
30-10. Donnie Ray is right there with us. He says Bengals 35-10. So I guess we will go to 49ers and the Bears.
The Bears.
I'm not sold on Justin Fields at all. And just like in other cases around the league, we've seen it in Carolina, Sam Darnold. We've seen it with Atlanta, the Jets. These quarterbacks aren't getting enough time and not enough protection from the offensive line. And it's the same with the Bears. He's struggling, and they got one of the worst lines in the league. What they do have is an emerging star and running back Khalil Herbert. And I think that's the only reason that this game is going to be close is when they get him going. But to their fact about the offensive line, they've allowed 26 sacks this year. I think that's the most among any team. So I have the 49ers winning 20-17. I just don't think this Bears team is got it figured out at all. And I don't think the 49ers really got to figure it out either, but I got to pick somebody.
Yeah, I'm going to go 17-14 49ers.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree. Like, it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be close. It's probably going to be an ugly game. It's probably not going to be very enjoyable to watch, unless you're a fan of one of those teams. Which, if you are, I'm sorry for calling your team trash. Not really. Anyways, Sunday Night Football, Dallas and Minnesota. Donnie Ray, real quick, says Bears 23-17. That's his prediction. And that running back, I do think he's going to get it. I think he, like I said, Khalil Herbert is emerging as a star. And I'm pissed that Mike Harris was able to get him on my fantasy team before I was. And then it kind of rubbed it in my face a little bit. So I agree. He's gonna get it. Dallas, Minnesota. What's your thoughts on this game? I think it's gonna be a good game, but what's your thoughts?
I'm going Dallas. Dallas is way too hot right now. As far as a score, I'm probably gonna pick the Cowboys to at least go up by 2 scores. So I'm gonna say 31-17.
31-17. We're close. We're close on that. I agree. I do think the Cowboys go up by at least 2 scores. Now, I do want to say, to give Minnesota their credit, that defense has 21 sacks on the year. They are nasty. Danielle Hunter, Everson Griffin are their edge guys, and that is one of the nastiest duos in all of football right now. Where their weakness is, and I think what cost them the game, is the run defense. And Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard for Dallas are gonna eat. They're gonna eat all day long. And I just want to also note, Dak Prescott is having the best year of his career this year, between they might have the best wide receiver group in all of football. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. They got the tight end that's emerging, Dalton Schultz. Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. I just think that there's just too much firepower. It's too much firepower. Dallas 35, Minnesota 17. And then the last game of the week is the Monday Night Football game, Kansas City versus the Giants. I will tell you for sure that I will not pick against Kansas City this week. Dottie Ray says my Cowboys 42-23. He's pretty much in agreement with us. But I will not pick against the Kansas City Chiefs this week. I do think that they can get the job done against the Giants. In order to do so, Patrick Mahomes is going to need to reduce the turnovers. And that starts with pass protection. Tennessee was able to get after Mahomes a little bit and bang him up a little bit. You know, he got hit quite a few times. And so if Leonard Williams from the Giants does the same thing, it could be a long day. But I just don't think I think Kansas City's just has got him outmatched.
No, New York's not gonna knock Mahomes around that much. And Mahomes, I think you got to be careful. Okay, this ain't I know this ain't Jaymes Howell's Chiefs talk. This is Jaymes Howell's NFL talk. But as a Chiefs fan, you got to be careful because this game's going to be exciting for Chiefs fans. But let's not get too excited. So yeah, it is the Giants.
It's the Giants. Yep.
And Mahomes is going to look really good. So I am calling for a pretty high score, a pretty big lead for Kansas City. I'm gonna go 38 12.
38-12. It looks like you and Donnie are right there in agreement. I disagree. I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game. The Giants, look, I keep speaking of the sacks that the Giants have been, like they had 6 sacks last week. On the flip side, our offensive line, as bad as it looked last week, they've done pretty well. They've done above average throughout the whole season. So I do kind of agree that we will be able to stop that pass rush from the Giants. And if turnovers can be reduced, it could easily be a multi-score game. I think I just can't bet on the fact that turnovers are going to get reduced. And because of that, I think the Chiefs win 31-28. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than what you and Donnie do. So, okay. All right. Well, with that, I appreciate everyone that tuned in tonight. Go ahead.
Backing up, my only issue with the Giants scoring 28 points is who's going to score those points.
Yeah. And they've got a couple guys over there. They're just not, Sterling Sharp. Daniel Jones, I think, is a good quarterback. It's in a bad situation. And because of that, I think that's where we see all these inconsistencies. But the dude could drop dimes on you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the word on Saquon Barkley?
Is he available?
I mean, I think he's active, isn't he? Look that up real quick. And then because look, if Saquon Barkley plays, he's gonna eat. He's gonna eat.
That's true.
And, this rush defense for the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not, it's not above average by any means.
Last thing I saw, or last thing I'm looking at, is Saquon Barkley, Tony, and Galladay on the mend. Giants are optimistic that they're healthy by Monday.
Yeah.
That was just
so. Yeah. All right. I appreciate everyone that tuned in tonight. This is our first episode of Jaymes Howell's NFL Talk. I think that we will. David Lindsay says, I think he's still out. So I think we're definitely going to do this again. Thursdays at 5:30. You can catch us Tuesdays at 8:00 for Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. And there is works on a Chiefs pregame show that we are going to try to get together maybe next weekend. At 9:00, 8:00, 9:00, something like that. We have to kind of figure that out early in the morning before the Chiefs game. I'll tell you, it'll be before the Chiefs game. So, look, if you were here, awesome. It's legendary. Love it. If you weren't here and you're catching it later, that's awesome as well. Legendary. We love it. For Jaymes Howell Sports, I'm Jaymes Howell. This way, my co-host, Chase Riley. And as always, stay legendary, my friends.